Got a couple of follow-up stories on some really unfortunate cases, right? And just because that Gabby Petito case made a strange fucking turn to involve Dog the Bounty Hunter of all fucking people, we got to touch back on this one. But you might not remember this, okay? This is Sarah Everard. She was the girl who was snatched up by the off-duty cop, and horrible things happened to her, right? And we're in the first couple of seconds here, so we just, don't need to get too graphic. But he was sentenced today, and which is good, which is very, very good. Unfortunately, he was only given a life sentence and wasn't, hung in public until dead. But you take what you can get. Officer used the lockdown. Another reason why I wanted to talk about this, because they had a previous interaction when he was on duty. She had the audacity to go and meet with somebody else during the height of the COVID panic in 2020. That's when he got a whiff of Sarah, and then eventually, knew where she was going, snatched her up, fucking raped and killed her. We're at least a minute in now, so now we can get into the fun stuff. Fun stuff? Ugh. Serving a London police officer was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole yesterday, for the kidnapping, rape, and murder of a woman he tricked into his car using police identification and COVID-19 laws. Good. I'm glad to see now it's not just, the elected officials using these fucking lockdown laws to enforce their own personal hellscape on everybody. It's the little foot soldiers now. Wayne Couzens, 48. Oh, so he'll be spending a long time in jail. That sucks. Not for him, just for the British taxpayers. Was accused of falsely arresting 33-year-old Sarah Everard for violating lockdown restrictions as she walked home from visiting a friend in South London on March 3rd. Prosecutors said he handcuffed Everard, drove her far outside the city, and then he raped and killed her. Couzens has pleaded guilty to the charges. Yay! Firing squad, because at least the police still have the guns in that cucked up nation. In handing down the sentence, Justin Adrian Fulford said Couzens misused his role of a police officer. No, if he was on duty, well, besides the fact that, he kind of killed her, but if he was on duty and he would have arrested her for just fucking meeting with a friend, there wouldn't be a problem. This judge would in fact be applauding her for just flouting the rules like that. But, taking everything in proper context, devastating, tragic, and wholly brutal, Couzens went. Hunting a lone female to kidnap and rape. No, he already knew. Having planned the crime in unspeakably grim details, the judge said. And the seriousness of this case was so exceptionally high that it warranted a whole life sentence, Fulford added. Sentence means that Couzens will die in prison with no chance of parole. The body of Everard, a marketing executive, was found in the woodland of Ashford, Kent, about 60 miles southeast of London. A week after she went missing, prosecutors said Couzens strangled her, but a police belt. Oof. Before setting fire to the body. Ugh. After Couzens' arrest, we'll just go ahead and get into this fucking creep's backstory. It emerged that he had been accused of indecent exposure at least twice before he murdered Everard, and the police is investigating over whether the allegations were dealt with properly. There's a little bit of a jump between flashing in public and then raping and murdering. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there, but by all means. All's well as it can end, I guess. So let's talk about this Brian Laundrie fucking running and hiding after Gabby Petito's autopsy came back, and it's like, yeah, that's unfortunately her. So now it's all hands on deck. Literally, even fucking names from the 90s are coming out for this one. Cops were called to Florida home twice. To his parents' house twice on the day before Gabby Petito was reported missing, and 3 more 911 calls were made over the next 24 hours. Why exactly? Police in Northport, Florida received 2 911 calls connected to the home of fugitive Brian Laundrie's parents on September 10th, the day before his fiancée Gabby Petito was reported missing. They were both public service calls in the first place in the 4 p.m. and the second around 6:30 p.m., according to the police logs provided to dailymail.com. It is unclear who called 911 and what those calls entailed, as the logs have been partially redacted. Why? However, both calls have been given a brief description of a problem settled. Interesting. Officers also received 3 calls connected to the residence on September 11th, the day Petito's mother filed a missing persons report for the 22-year-old. Those incidences listed as follow-up investigations and agency assist. Okay. Response to the calls was described as problems stated or settled, no police action needed, and report submitted. 5 calls within a 24-hour period. All right. At least 46 emergency calls were made in connection to the residence for various reasons between September 10th and 27th, including missing persons, disturbance, follow-up investigation, emergency assist, special detail, patrol check. Words are hard, and public service. The provided records indicate that officers most recently received a call connected to the home on a Monday at 5:10 p.m. With calls placed earlier on the day at 8:06, 8:28, 1:29, 45, and 4:13. A nationwide manhunt is underway for the 23-year-old Laundrie, who is a person of interest in a Petito's homicide. Yeah, they found the body, and then immediately, the homicide, you know what, when it gets designated, that doesn't mean that he necessarily killed her, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. What it does mean is an unusual or an unnatural form of death. We all remember that from the George Floyd medical records as well, but it's brought Dog the Bounty Hunter out of retirement, I guess. I don't really know. And he's been following leads everywhere. This story is so weird for a multitude of reasons, right? Because you've seen the pundits out there, right? The left-wing media, Joy Reid's fucking weird-shaped head saying that, oh, the only reason that this is getting coverage is because of missing white girl syndrome, which is just something that's fucking made up. But like I discussed the last time that we talked about this, it was one of those things where it's like, this is an obvious distraction from everything that's going on right now. So that's the reason why it's as big as it is, because nobody wants to discuss Afghanistan, the impending lockdown, the impending shutdown. Impending lockdowns, they're coming just a little bit in the future. Don't worry too much about that. But distract from the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan was the biggest thing. So, hey, guess what? Oh, missing white girl. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. These kind of stories pop up all the time, but you get those weirdo pundits which try to make everything about intersectionality and fucking identity politics. And it was one of those perfect things where it's like, the only reason she's getting covered is because she's white and pretty. Or it's like, you guys have your own fucking media platforms. If you think that there's a missing child of color or whatever the fuck you want to call them these days, a little missing black girl, you can cover it too. What's the problem? You are a news organization. You can cover the news that you want to. What's stopping you? Oh, you wouldn't have anything to bitch about. I get it. So the manhunt that was kicked off after the body was recovered and the autopsy was performed has taken several turns, and I see it when I do research for more serious topics throughout the day, and then I seen Dog the Bounty Hunter attach his name to it. Okay, let's see what the fuck he's on about. Dog the Bounty Hunter was out there yelling the N-word in an open field. Oh, I'm sorry. We're 10 years on from that. He's changed. Just not his hairstyle. Who is on the hunt for fugitive Brian Laundrie has reportedly come across a fresh campsite at a Florida park where he and his team found a can of Monster Energy Ultra Gold. Oh my god, is that his favorite brand? The can showed no signs of rust or faded colors, but a reality TV star whose real name is Dwayne Chapman. I didn't know that. Okay, everybody's seen at least an episode or two of Dog the Bounty Hunter back in the day when A&E put out actual, content, I guess. You wouldn't even classify Dog the Bounty Hunter as actual content, would you? But at least Ozzy did the theme song, which is sweet. I found no firm evidence the late Gabby Petito's boyfriend was still on Egmont Key in the woods of Shell Island near Fort De Soto Park. Interesting. We're here at the island. This would be and could be the perfect spot for him to hide. Aha! Not too many people out here, but there's a lot of environmental things that we're going to fight. Dog said on Twitter Wednesday. Interesting. So here we go. The search now is really on. The search has just begun. He's 68? Fuck. Okay, other than the saggy tits and the goofy fucking peroxide blonde hair, He doesn't look that bad for 68, all things considered, for the fucking man whose skin has the texture of a weathered old purse. He doesn't look that bad, let's be completely honest. I wouldn't have guessed 68. I wouldn't have guessed a guy who's approaching 70. Or maybe that's because I live in like a really white trash part of the world. So maybe I just see rougher people. Source close to Chapman told the Post this week that the celebrity manhunter was on Florida's Marco Island and set up home base in the Sunshine State, from which to launch his search for Laundrie. On Wednesday, he was at Fort De Soto Park, some 75 miles away from Laundrie's home, where Laundrie and his parents camped out on September 6th, 5 days after he returned home in the couple's cross-country trip in her van. Seems pretty logical, I guess. Petito's body was found Bridge Teton National Forest in Wyoming on September 18th. Laundrie's family attorney, Stephen Bertolino, has confirmed that Laundrie and his parents, Chris and Roberta, were at the campground on September 6th and 7th. He disputed Chapman's claims that Laundries were in Fort De Soto Park until September 8th, but the parents left the campground without him. On September 17th, Laundrie's parents reported him missing. Oh my god, I wonder if he's going to turn up in Wyoming. 3 days after he allegedly told them he was going to go for a hike. Oh, okay, cool. At Carlton Reserve in Sarasota, and then disappeared. Laundrie has not been charged with Petito's death, but he is only a person of interest in the case, which is ruled a homicide for reasons we explained earlier. He has been named on an arrest warrant issued last week on federal fraud charges for allegedly using someone else's bank card. Interesting, despite Bertolino's statement, campers at Fort De Soto told The Sun they worried that Laundrie may be in the area. That's alright, unless you have a cute daughter, he's really not going to be that much of a threat, and who even knows if he killed her? I don't know, maybe she just wandered off. She's a free spirit after all, I don't really know. It's scary, but realistic, Amanda Smith. Why is it just basic fucking Amanda Smith? Okay, that's a fake name, let's be honest. Who has been staying at the campsite since Sunday, told the news outlet that Laundrie's possible presence we're just looking at some of the mangroves out there, and it's very thick. Thanks for your contribution. I just found it hilarious that Dog the Bounty Hunter, of all people, to fucking pop up again. For him to be on this case, I talk a lot about cultural stagnation, and really the fact that the guy who used to bust meth heads in Hawaii is still relevant in today's day and age. I don't know if that's a shout out to his longevity or not, but congratulations on getting your name back in the headlines. This time for something more than just, phone call recordings. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.